Alrighty, we got the boat cleaned up. Got the rods cleaned up. Got my cast net over here hung up and sprayed off. So my buddy Lovett and I yesterday, the reason why I'm kind of cleaning everything up today, yesterday my buddy Lovett, you've seen him on the channel, him and I went to the same place that we caught the speck, and we did the speckled trout catch and cook. So we went to that same land and fished around that same area, but I thought, you know, tide's gonna be moving. I checked the tides. I was pretty hyped. I was like, you know, the tide's like dead center between high and low is like right at dusk. So the tide's gonna be moving fast right at dusk. Fish are gonna be eating. It's gonna be awesome. Top water, live bait, all this stuff. So I bring the cast net out. We bring a bunch of lures. We bring a bunch of stuff. And first off, we spent about 2.5 hours swapping back and forth between the cast net and lures. And right at the end of that, ended up catching a pinfish that was about that big. You know, I'm not a professional saltwater fisherman by any means, and obviously I'm pretty not good at it, but if you can't find bait in saltwater, you need to take a step back and just rethink your whole life. I mean, there's usually, especially like where we were at, I've seen so much bait there in the past, and like it's just been so easy to catch bait. And even other places, like everywhere I've been, if I had a cast and I could catch like, you know, enough bait for the day, just pretty much anywhere, as long as you know what you're doing a little bit. But anyway, we kind of sucked pretty bad. Didn't even get a bite. When I don't know. I don't know what we were doing wrong. I got a plan for today. It might not happen today. It might not happen, you know, in the next couple of days. I do have something I really want to do. If we don't get into that today, then y'all just be looking forward to that. If we do get into it today, then it's going to be a pretty awesome video. And if we don't get into it, it's still probably going to be a pretty awesome video. I just haven't figured out what to do. So I think I'm going to go get some lunch, and I'll catch you guys back here in a little bit whenever I figure out what to do. Rain has ruined so many freaking videos, and it might ruin today's video, but we're still gonna try our best to make something. So my plan for today, I got some corn obviously, and I was thinking I want to go put out like some feeler cameras basically. I should probably get batteries, but I don't have, I completely forgot to get batteries, but that's okay, we'll be all right. Basically I got this spot that I got two spots that I really want to check out, that I really want to explore, and I won't get into that yet, but I also have two spots that I really want to put out game cameras. I've got one spot that it's like a spot that like doesn't really get hunted like at all, and it's me and Kay walked back there during turkey season, and it was just covered up in good looking deer sign, like that was still fresh during turkey season. And then there's another spot where I walked down the other day, and it looks just like, it looks really good. So I'm gonna put up a couple cameras and put out a little bit of corn, but I'm not gonna keep it fed up like a spot that I'm actually gonna like hunt. I'm just gonna put the corn there to get a couple really good pictures pretty soon, but then leave them up for about a month or so. And then after about a month is when I'm gonna, you know, see if I need to backtrack any bucks, see if I need to put more corn out there in that spot, you know, just kind of get a feel for what I need to do in these areas to have success. or maybe find out that there's nothing there worth hunting. One of the two. That's kind of the plan. Y'all stay tuned. I couldn't get my camera out in time, but I'm really freaking excited. I just drove past one little section of my lease, and like the edge of the main part, and I saw a couple turkeys cross the road, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I got to looking, it was 2 hens with about 8 poults that were already big enough to fly and all. So that gets me jacked up. We got some turkeys, they're breeding. Man, that's exciting to me, seeing that many poults. But we're about to pull up to this area. I don't have a ton of land to work with at this spot, but there's always a big buck in the area somewhere over here. Alright guys, so I got my corn. I made it down in here, and I can kind of explain what I was kind of looking for from here. So up here, all of this stuff is like thinned pines. And then down below me, there's a thick creek bottom. And there's right where you can kind of see my bucket down there, right where that bucket is an old road bed that you used to be able to drive down. What I'm trying to do is show you the different habitat types, because what I'm standing in now, between like the road bed and the thin pines, is almost like an oak flat, a pretty wide oak flat. And it doesn't look amazing, but it also doesn't hardly get hunted. So, alright, you can kind of see it now. Thinned pines, these big skidder trails that cut down into the creek, and then between the skidder trails is like thicker oak flat type stuff. And almost every one of these skidder trails that funnel down into the bottom, it creates like an exit from the creek bottom to come up and hit this road bed, or come up and get into these pines. Now the tricky part is, this place is steep enough, it doesn't look like it on camera, but this place is steep enough that it's one of the few areas that you actually have to worry about thermals out here, because the thermals will get sucked down into that creek bottom. So what I'm hoping is I can get to an area where the deer are coming from my right, kinda, or my left, and I can climb either to the left or the right of where the deer are coming out. So that if my thermals get sucked downhill, like that they will, I can kind of stay out of it. Right there, huge scrape from last year. That's one reason why I want to come down here. This whole old road bed is just covered in old scrapes, but I'm thinking that original spot might be my best option. Okay, so this is what I was just talking about. There's like a log landing skidder trail type deal up there. It funnels down into the creek. A little bit of thick stuff, a little bit of thick stuff. Granted, there's a lot of these around here. There's like the one that I stopped at, there's more that way, there's more this way. But this one, the reason why I'm picking this one is, number one, there's a lot of thick stuff on the left side, and also I feel like this spot, I'll show you why, but I feel like this spot is gonna force deer to walk this trail if they're coming from the left. If they come from the right, they're either gonna stop here and turn to the left, or they have to go straight. They come out of the creek bottom here or wherever, and they either have to, if they come out over there, they pretty much have to walk down this trail if they want to get up to this side anywhere, because of this. This could hurt me, and it definitely could help me. There's this big gully. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but right there's a big gully. I don't know, it's probably 3 foot deep right there. And they might even come up on the other side of it and skirt around kind of behind me, which honestly that'd be okay too. I just need to make sure I can shoot behind me. But that gully right there, and the fact that there's a lot of, like, this is the concentration of old rut sign was right in this area. There's a couple old scrapes up there. There's a really big scrape right over there. So I feel like at the very least this is gonna give me my best option to get some good pictures, get some good intel. So I'm gonna distribute corn like all over this area. I got half of a 5-gallon bucket, which should be about 17 pounds. I'm literally just gonna distribute that corn all over in this area and then hang up my camera. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but that's a buck down there. It's a buck deer. And he doesn't even know I'm here. That's a very good sign for what I'm about to do. Alright guys, so I'm literally on almost the exact same trail that deer just crossed the pipeline on. But I'm about 80 or 100 yards away from the pipeline, maybe a little bit farther. So down below me, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I can kind of hear a creek bottom, or a creek running, but basically that's a creek bottom down there. It's super thick and nasty. I've tried to walk through it before. It's disgusting. All these woods behind me, this spot sets up very similarly to the last spot, except this is like a much bigger scale. There's bigger pines here. There's larger, or more exaggerated topography change. The habitats are bigger, like bigger creek bottom, bigger flat next to the creek bottom, bigger oak flat, bigger trees. It's the same thing, but on a bigger scale, basically. And past this oak flat behind me, this little band of oaks, there's a gap up to the left in the oaks, and then it starts back. That's a good exit route for these deer. And they also cross the pipeline, as we just saw. But on the other side, it's like thinned pines, and it's pretty similar, like skidder trails and cut down into the creek. But anyway, I think this is gonna be the spot. Like, it's just this little clearing right here. I can climb up. There's a couple trees I can climb up back here. That pine might be good. There's an oak tree right there that might be good. It's got a lot of cover. I'm feeling really excited about this spot. Got our camera up over there. Right over there is where we saw that buck. This is the area that he came from. And we got all their corn out right here. I got it distributed pretty wide out here. I'm probably gonna have to end up coming down here and setting up some mineral eventually. Probably need to do that soon, but who knows. What's up, guys? It's the next day. We're probably gonna do some exploring in a later date, just cause, I don't know, stuff comes up and rain and all that kind of stuff. But I decided I'd work on a little project today. It just sort of popped into my mind. I was like, you know, that'd be something cool to do just to see if it works. And I'll show you what I've made so far. So if you can't tell, this will probably be on the title and the thumbnail and all, but I'm making a DIY gravity feeder. All right, so I got this piece of PVC pipe. It's like 3-inch PVC. It's Schedule 40, just regular like water lines. And it's probably about 4.5 feet tall. And I basically just got this, like, I don't even know what this stuff is called, but it looks like electrical conduit, but really, really big. I think it might be like sewage line or something. I don't even know. But I found a chunk of it in the barn and self-tapped it onto the bottom of the PVC. So, you know, the corn will fall out here, and I might have to trim this up a little bit because it seems like it might be a little long. We're gonna just pretty much gonna test it. And I don't have like an actual cap, so what I'm working on right now is building a cap for this thing. So hopefully we can build a cap that'll pressure fit on there, keep the coons out, keep the water out, and put some corn in there, let the corn run out, feed up some deer. So I'm literally just jigsawing just scrap wood just to kind of make some sort of cap for this thing. I'm probably gonna have to set up some way to like latch it down with like a mini bungee or something. It'll be alright. This is literally costing me nothing except for 20-30 minutes in the barn. Okay, so here's what I came up with. It's just a piece of like thin plywood, that like half semicircle looking thing under that, and then some pipe cleaners for now. I may use something better than pipe cleaners in the future. This is just the first thing I've grabbed that I thought was like decent. So I don't know, we're gonna see what this does. I'm about to go put it out on a little chunk of my lease. Alright guys, so I'm about to come around the corner and where I put up that gravity feeder. So this land, this is actually the same land that I shot my first ever deer on. My parents own, I think it's like 9 acres or something. We mentioned this in a podcast, just talking about it, and I've talked about it before, but the day before, if you've been watching for a while, I think it was 2 deer seasons ago, the day before I shot, that was a stick, I thought it was a snake. The day before I shot my Velvet 6 point 2 years ago, or 2 deer seasons ago. I was hunting out here and had a really nice velvet 5-point at like 10 yards and couldn't get a shot off on him. But I decided to come down here and put up that gravity feeder that I made earlier in the video. And I was with some buddies, didn't really feel like filming, so I didn't film. I got it put up, and like I say, it's only been a couple days, but I want to see what the deer's reaction to it is early. And I might do like a follow-up video, or at least part of a video. I might do a follow-up talking about like after, you know, a certain amount of time, if they get more used to it or if they just don't like it at all, or whatever. I feel like it's gonna be better than one of those spinning feeders, because a lot of my deer, at least at my lease, I've never put one up here, but a lot of the deer at my lease, they get really wary of those spinning feeders. Looks like some of the corn's been touched. One issue I have, which I'll show you the full setup here in just a second. One thing I'm a little worried about is whether or not the raccoons are just going to demolish the feed, but out of the thing. But who knows? I'm going to get this cord out and show you the feeder. That's just great. Hopefully at least got something before the batteries died, but next time I come out here I'll definitely have to put new batteries in this thing. Alright, so here's the feeder. I need to kick some of this. Kind of worried that some of this corn got a little mildewy or something. All the rain we've had, but quick little rundown. Got me a little cap thing on here. Ratchet strapped to the tree. And this is literally just a piece of pipe. Piece of 3-inch PVC with, I don't know what this is, but it's something I found in my barn. I literally built this thing for free. Yeah, I think it's going to work decent as long as this corn on the bottom doesn't rot. And the raccoons don't eat every single kernel out of this thing.